the more you spend, the less the improvement. And once you get above a certain level, it just becomes about the flavor that you like, or that your engineer likes, or even which one you think is the prettiest hanging in your room, because they're all very, very good.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that, guys like Emmett and myself, and, we listen to microphones all day long, or certainly have, and we listen to, in a very critical listening environment, whereas most of the things that end up on air are being listened to by people who don't care what the difference is, in how much you spent on a microphone, and they don't notice the difference between the two. And they're also listening on computer speakers, or in their car, or on the speakers, so they're not really paying attention. Now, one thing that I can certainly tell you from having, worked on some video projects and film projects is, people are willing to forgive, some poor quality video, but they tend not to forgive poor quality sound. So yes, that is something that is important to keep in mind, because if something sounds bad, it's really hard to listen to and to maintain their attention, for a long period of time. Whereas if something is kind of poor video quality but has great sound, they'll still watch.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy sometimes that, for instance, as we progress along in, bandwidth and speed and things like that, a lot of companies have been focused on, getting better video quality. It's been a lot more recent than people have actually getting better sound quality.
Yeah, and it always blows my mind. You'll see an ad, or, you work on a project where they've clearly spent hundreds of thousands on the live action shoot of this thing, and then the voiceover, or the audio components are the very last thing they think about. But exactly like you say, the audio is so much more important in some respects than the visuals, in terms of people's appreciation of it. Now, this is a bit of a leading question, to be honest, and a lot of these questions are, but is an expensive mic always going to be a better option for your voice? Emmett, what do you think? Not necessarily, no. And I think everyone would agree with that.
No.
There's one aspect I wanted to touch on that sort of ties into that and sort of ties into the previous part.
Yeah.
And that is that for some people, not everyone, maybe not even a majority, but for some people, there's confidence in using what other people are using. There's confidence in knowing that you are using the same mic that some hero of yours or some pro that you admire is using. And if that gets you more into your performance, if that allows you to think less about the mic, blame the mic less, and just sort of forget that it's there, then I would say that's absolutely worth the investment. For a lot of people, they're able to just simply focus on the performance and not worry about what microphone is there. And in that case, it doesn't necessarily come down to price, though. There are a lot of factors in there. I think if you put a U87 clone next to a U87, the U87 is going to beat it every time. So when all things are, when we're in, but frequently it's not exactly apples to apples, and there may be certain things about one mic that make it more appealing than another mic on a certain voice. The Sennheiser 416 is used all the time, and it's a third the price of a U87, and many times it's a better choice.
I know that when I did my last promo demo, I had a TLM 103 and my 416 both in the booth with me, and we chose the 416 over the TLM 103.
Yeah.
That's just how it shook out. And actually, since you mentioned comparison, Emmett, I think that, that's the thing that's so critical. I describe, choosing the microphone a lot like going to the eye doctor. You sit in the chair and you look across the room and you read the chart, right? And the eye doctor puts the lens up in front of you and says, okay, you're going for how do you read that most accurately and with the most clarity? And choosing a microphone should be kind of have the same goal. And ideally, if you can, kind of choose in the same way, because the eye doctor puts that lens in front of you, you read the chart, and then they flip the lens and say, okay, is this better or worse? And then they might do that 2 or 3 more times, right?
Yeah.
So ideally, if you can do the same thing and choose your microphone in that way, but then you definitely have the confidence that hey, I tried this one and I tried that one and I tried this one all side by side, and this is the one that sounded best. And whatever that might end up being, it doesn't really, so much of this is subjective, and part of the reason that we just have so many microphones in the world is because we are literally trying to use those to create a different sound. When you're recording music, you might want to put a ribbon microphone on a guitar cabinet, and it